So today I wanted to talk about Surgeon Sparks. I've been kind of keeping my eye on this for the past few days now, or at least the past few weeks, with the Pikachu, mainly. And we'll kind of get into that. But then we did see kind of some incredible news that has come out that it is dropping beyond belief. Now, the booster box in itself, I try and collect as much as I can, but booster boxes, especially from the Surgeon Sparks era, did definitely escape me considerably. But what we are seeing at the moment is a very interesting pattern. Like if we go all the way here, because it's very easy to see and go for like this month graph right here and see, oh my god, okay, they're dropping massively. The 3-month one is probably the scariest in terms of seeing it drop almost $40 is absolutely insane. But definitely show the whole picture here. Like, it's great to see that it is dropping, of course. Like that's fantastic. But realistically, it did come down here. Like, for the longest amount of time from September onwards, you could have picked it up a little bit. Even if you got into mid-November, you could have still got it for that 150, 160. It was after that when Prismatic hit, we did see a massive boost up to about 260, which is fair enough. So the 3-month graph, obviously be very wary of it. It paints it out to be quite a considerable picture. Obviously we do look at the kind of selling list, which is always interesting. Obviously coming here, 202 sold, and you'll be able to go view more data, and you can kind of see consistently it is selling at a lower price at the moment, which it really should do. We're kind of getting into that where Surgeon Sparks, even if the cards itself for me are a bit overpriced, or at least are considerably hyped up, it's still a very good set. Now, if we were to look at other products as well, kind of looking at singular packs, they should have kind of like a very dip up and down, really. As you can see with the Surgeon Sparks, you can see that it is kind of chilling around about the $6 to $7 mark, which is fine. Like, single packs really shouldn't be crazy high unless the box is stupidly high up here as well. So that's just something in itself. The booster box, if we look at the ETB in general, I don't really look too much into the Pokemon Center one because, again, it's just whatever you're willing to pay. That one for me is very much a collector's item. It is very specific to have that Pokemon Center logo on it. I don't think there is, other than actually getting the promo card inside, there is actually no other reason for me to have opened something like that. So that is kind of a sealed product completely. I wouldn't really open that. Whereas the ETB, I definitely would. Now you can see the ETB here. In terms of pricing, we are still very expensive. At 110 is absolutely crazy. You think, if you're paying 110 for this ETB, you get 9 packs in it, you could literally just double that. So you could buy 2 of these and that's 18 packs, or you go and buy a booster box if you can find one for that sort of price. So it is absolutely criminal to see this so expensive at the moment. Like 110 for that is outrageous. Like, in general, I get the collector's item if you want it sealed. Fair enough, you pay for what you pay, but if you are buying packs specifically, do not buy that. That is absolutely outrageous. Then we do look at I was looking at the booster bundles, in fact. If you do look at the booster bundles, which should be in the packs, I'm interested to see, obviously, you've got your blister packs. You then obviously got your sleeved packs as well. The booster bundle in itself, you get 6 packs from this, $45 at the moment. But you can see it's kind of, it's very much just up and down, really. Like, even in the whole year, it has definitely gone up. Like, realistically, you're looking at this at about $27 to $28 as MSRP. So it is nearly double anyway, but you're getting the 6 packs in it. But whether you find that product is the big question. And it's probably why the ETBs are still so high up. Whether they completely reprint any of them is the big question with it. Now, we've obviously looked at the sealed market. We can see that booster boxes are falling slightly. Everything else is kind of staying around the same because naturally there isn't a mass reproduce of products like that. But the singles in themselves, the biggest one that you can find from this is going to be that Surgeon Sparks Pikachu. Now, when we do look at the price of him, he is off a cliff at this point. Like, genuinely, yeah, he literally is dying a death at this point. Now, obviously, we did start at such a high point. Like, if I was being really clever with this, I got Pikachu kind of mid-December. I should have seen that this card is not a £400 card on the rip. it's probably about a 250, like 250. Maybe as we get out of reprints, it goes to 300-400. That's fair enough. I do think in terms of the longevity of the card itself is solid. It's a great, great card. It looks good in person. If you've got good centering, good light, all that jazz, like you've got a good card, it's a solid artwork. Like, I mean, I'm not a big fan of the terrestrial kind of bits on top. That's kind of, it's not as noticeable. Like the Pikachu itself, it's front and center, it's great. The actual art design of it is fantastic. I just knew from the rip it's not 450. Should have got that off straight away. And if you did that now, you're looking pretty at it. So you got to be very wary with cards on the overinflation market. When we do look at something like a Moonbryon, for me, it's the opposite effect. Like, we look at the Umbreon from Evolving Skies. I had that one. I managed to sell it. And now we look at it now, it's absolutely criminal. So you look at it here, you probably think, okay, as a card itself, artwork design, outstanding. Big Pokemon in itself, evolution. You throw an evolution set out, it's going to hit the absolute, it's going to go crazy. Now you look at a year's graph in this, like we for so long, like you think for a whole year, you could probably have thought, okay, it's going up a little bit. And then suddenly Prismatic comes and quite literally it just doubles. It's the kind of same thing for the Pikachu. It may not be that it's straight away, but there is a chance that it does keep a massive, massive hype on this in general. So I would definitely be watching out for the Pikachu in itself. When we do look at the rest of the set though, and you kind of go for, say, the Latios, which is the second one. This one was coming out, I think, again, at about 150 to 200 on launch. You can see that it did take... It basically went up in the hype and now it started to come down. Like we're seeing with a lot of the products when it comes to Surge and Sparks. This price point here is too expensive. You can't have, at this point, a 450 Pikachu in terms of pounds and a 200 pound Latias at the same time. Don't get me wrong, the artworks are fantastic, but what other sets have we seen this other than Evolutions? You look then at a Melodic as well, another one that was absolutely through the roof. A little bit lower, yes, coming in at the 150. So you've already got so many cards coming in so expensive on that hype market. And then even then we had the gold Pikachu, I think, was just touching the 100. It might have even just been a bit under. Yeah, I was going to say, I think when I packed it, it was about 85 to 90 pounds, which would have been dollars it would have come. But you can see the selling data is a little bit off on this for some reason. It just doesn't... Yeah, I was going to say, it's definitely there. I think the graph is broken because, I mean, it definitely was a little... We can't go any further back, so clearly there's no data here, which is where it would be at its highest point. But in general, it was about the $100, give or take, for that. And then you obviously had Hydrogen as well, another fantastic one. And it wasn't necessarily that sets can have this amount, but when you've got multiple cards over the 100, we've seen it time and time again that they do drop out. Like, you look at any other set, if we go to the English sets and think, okay, well, if we look at Surge and Sparks as an overall set, it was a big set, it did really well. We look at another big set, if we go for something like, I suppose Silver Tempest could be quite another considerable set, maybe even Lost Origin. I know Lost Origin had the Trainer Gallery, but if we do look at the Silver Tempest prices, that is not how I wanted to look at it. If we go back into it and go into the Silver Tempest... No, they're English. If we go back into the Silver Tempest and look at kind of where we're thinking for these price points, because naturally, if we shop now... There we go, that's what I wanted. I think it will be in the Trainer Gallery, but mainly you're looking for that Lugia more so than anything in the actual set. Other than that, you're looking quite cheap. Like, obviously, Lugia is the Pikachu of this set. So we know that in the actual set itself, it goes bang with 270, which is cheaper than the Pikachu at the moment. And then it goes a lot of everything. And we even saw the unknowns. These were mega prices back in the day. Like, they were coming in very, very high up in that pricing. And now we're seeing quite considerably cheaper. If we go one further back, look for that Trainer Gallery, because obviously with the Sword and Shield is a little bit more interesting because naturally they do have other cards in the set as well. But even then, we go from high to low. When we do look at this, again, we're looking at market price of 75. Normally what you find is there's maybe 1, 2 or 3 chase, but everything else does drop down. everything does go down in price. Having that amount of cards, like we had like 5 or 6 cards over the 100, Pikachu way above max, it was always a recipe for that. You look at the Blaziken at 25, it's a cracking artwork. I must admit, looking back at some of these, the artworks are absolutely insane. Like you look at even the Corviknight, it's a beautiful artwork when it comes to it. So it is always interesting to compare the Sword and Shields back to obviously this. So naturally, as we kind of go through into the Surge and Sparks, where do you stand? What do you actually have to do is the big question. But then even another one that I kind of just thought about as well, the Executor, another one that really had its prices very much up there, and this was always natural to happen over the course of this time. So where you kind of go from this, I would be very much kind of seeing where the market goes, because naturally some of these artworks are fantastic, don't get me wrong. Like I said, the Pikachu, the Latias, even Melodic, some of the designs are outstanding, and over the course of time singles do well. Like, I mean, I'd definitely be looking at a certain price point, definitely looking at something like a Durant. Is there a big kind of outburst of this? Is it in a hype market? And you've always got to check yourself with that. And now when it comes to what do you actually do with the singles, personally for me, you've always got to be very wary. Some singles can do really well. Like, naturally, some can outperform what they should do. I really like the Slack Off. I think it's a funky design. It's funny. It's different compared to all of your others. When you look at the skies, the kind of colouring differences, the aspect of how it's pictured, Slack Off just looks that interesting, fun card. Who wouldn't love that? Whereas some people might really like a C variant of it, depending on what you're actually going for. I'm a big collector, so I like having a one of each sort of thing, but I do appreciate the artworks. I love this cast form card. I like the Dolphins in between or outside of the Fanfees. And then even just a different colour art, just some pop of colour when it comes to the Sphere, comes to the Doug Trio. There's some really lovely artworks in themselves, so it all depends on where you want to collect. Which means it's very difficult to say that we know that in 5 years' time, this Vivillon is going to triple in price. Because naturally, when you do look at some cards, they don't. It just happens. When you look at through the sets, and you could do this through TCG, go into the latest English, and just go all the way down, go down for a bit. Even go to a couple more pages once we go... Where do we go here? Go to like number 4 or something and go and look at some Diamond and Pearl. Now, it's very difficult to say if they will do the exact same or not, because if we do look at, for instance, if we go for, let's go for Power Keepers, for instance, because the set was set out differently, we don't have no alt arts, we don't have any of them, it's very difficult to see. But even when we look at them, you will see some of the outliers. You see a lot of the main set. Gold stars, they are the kind of big prominent ones, especially I picked the ones with the evolutions obviously and a Charizard. But even if you look at something like a Flygon EX, realistically it's $46. This is a card that has been years old. Like, we're looking at what, 2007. So really, in terms of singles holding for a considerable amount of time, it's very difficult to warrant saying this will go up. Now, obviously, if it was to do the same in Power Keepers and look at their booster box, it's a bit different. You've got to have that product in itself, but you know full well this product would go for mega. We don't even have any data on it. We got any sale? As I say, I doubt we've got anything, but in general, you know full well that that's going to go up in price. Same as the Surge and Sparks. Naturally, it's going to have a dip. It will come back up. It's bound to. That's just what product does. So it is always interesting to see with the booster boxes versus the singles. But at the moment, Surge and Sparks, in all accounts, is all down. So whether we see the correction of singles going to a point where that is where they're going to be at for the kind of remainder, the foreseeable, then who knows? It might be. You will get the starters kind of going up in masses. The Pikachu is bound to be one of the more expensive. Maybe we see Latios being pulled up with it as well. But naturally, they're going to be the two that kind of go up in the value. Everything else more than likely sits. So let me know if you've completed that set or not. Make sure you do like and subscribe on this, and I will catch you all for the next one. Peace.